I stumbled across this roll recipe probably about 13, 14 years ago. One of my really good friends had it, brought dinner over to me, and it's been one of those that I'm so glad I found because it is the best dinner rolls I have ever found. I don't even think I can buy dinner rolls this good, but it's a pretty simple recipe, so I just don't want to overcomplicate it, just to let you know just how good it is. So I start by putting 2 tablespoons of yeast into my mixer. And then I activate that yeast with the warm water. You don't want that water so scalding hot that it's going to kill the yeast, but you also want it warm enough that it's going to activate it. And then I start putting the rest of the ingredients in. I'm not in a super big hurry, but I go ahead and just start throwing all of them in without. The yeast does great as long as you don't kill it with the warm water. And then I slowly start to mix it. I don't want the flour flying out. I could put the lid on my mixer here, but I don't want to. And so I just slowly start mixing it. And once the flour isn't, puffing up a little bit, I will just turn the mixer on and I let it go. So I didn't show you all the time, but I let it knead for about 10 minutes in that mixer. And I don't leave the kitchen, but this is when I'll do all my cleanup and I'll get the cookie sheet ready that I'm going to put them on, and I just make sure my counters are really clean for me to be able to do whatever I need to do. So once that mixer has gone and the bread has kneaded for about 10 minutes, it might be slightly sticky, but it shouldn't be too sticky. I just pour a little bit. I used canola oil. You can use whatever oil you like, and I put it in the bowl, and then I just kind of swirl it around so that the bottom of the bowl is coated. And then I'm going to take that bread dough out of the mixer. I get a little bit of oil on my hands so that the bread dough won't stick to it. And then I just take it out of the mixer and I'm going to let it drop into that bowl in just one plop. So probably not the best word to use for it, but see how I'm just taking it out and I'm letting it all just go in there. So then I take that dough, I flip it over, kind of tuck down the edges. I don't want to mess with it too much because I don't want that oil to get inside the dough. And then I cover it with a towel. I used a dry towel, you can use a damp towel. And I cover it for about 45 minutes until it is risen about double in size. So this is how I make my rolls. I just grab a little amount, and as you make these, you will start to see how much you need in each ball to spread across this entire cookie sheet. But I just kind of squeeze it through my thumb and my pointer finger, and then I have put that seam side down. So I squeeze, I roll it a little bit, and I know I went off the camera here a little bit, but you just kind of squeeze it through that hole that you make, that O shape that you make, and just keep forming them. And then I just line them up. Well, about right here, I see that I have probably 5 more rolls that I need to have. And yes, you can weigh these. I probably should do that, but I don't. And so I start looking at the rolls and going, wait, which ones are too big? And so then I'll just take a little piece off of them, throw them back in the bowl. And so here I'm just taking little pieces off because I know I need just a few more rolls and I want these all to be somewhat uniform. And so I'm just taking those pieces off, forming more rolls. And then once I have enough rolls formed, I kind of realize not all of these are that pretty. And so here I'm just reshaping some of them. You can see towards the bottom left corner there, they're not that pretty. So I'm going to reshape them. If you don't, they're not going to taste any different. And I don't spend a lot of time on this, just enough to, and then I'm going to let them sit out on the counter, rise for about a half hour. I put them into a preheated 350-degree oven for about 22 to 25 minutes. And then here I'm taking them out, and I do stuff those rolls in. I know some people like crusty rolls, where all the sides have edges. I don't like crusty rolls. I like that soft. And so I do shove them in there, and see how good those are? Like, they look good. They taste even better. They're really good. They're really soft. And I know I've seen people put butter over the top. Well, when you have that oil that you coated them in the bowl, that gives it that nice, shiny, soft top. And then here I'm just putting butter on them because that's how I like them. I was thinking maybe I could even have hot rolls one night with a variety of all different kinds of toppings that you could put on the rolls. And then I just made a potato soup here. There's just so many different things you can do it. My son loves to pack these in his lunch with lunch meat. So, and let me know what questions you have.